Okay, so let's unpack this. For this deep dive today, we are looking at a device that frankly looks incredibly boring.
Yeah, it is. It's very unassuming when you just look at it.
Right, it's just this small industrial gray metal box. But if we dig into the specs we have here from HDTV Supply this thing, the Zenty ZT-102 basically allows you to build your own television station for about $300.
It really does. And functionally, it solves a massive headache in video production.
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive is to figure out how this specific piece of hardware bridges that gap between a standard HDMI source like your camcorder or a cable box and the massive world of online streaming.
Or even just broadcasting across your own local network.
Right?
Because when you look at the workflow, the core concept here is translation. You plug an HDMI Type A cable into one side, so that is your video and audio, and an Ethernet cable into the other.
And the Zenty just takes that uncompressed heavy video signal and compresses it.
Exactly, into a digital H.264 stream that travels over your network.
And that H.264 part is really the secret sauce here. The source material highlights better quality, lower bandwidth.
Which is crucial.
Right, because to put it simply, if you tried to send raw video over your home internet, it would just completely choke the connection immediately. H.264 is that standard that shrinks the file down without destroying the image.
Yeah, it's efficient enough that you can run this on a standard home network without killing your Wi-Fi speeds.
And that efficiency really opens up the world of platforms for you. I was looking at the compatibility list, and it's got YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitch, Vimeo, Periscope, Tiki Live.
Basically, if there's a place you want to stream to, this box is ready to handle it.
Exactly.
It's the Swiss Army knife approach. And because it's hardware-based, you aren't relying on a computer running software that might crash.
Yeah.
It's a dedicated metal enclosure running on just 12 watts of power. It just does one thing continuously.
But here's where it gets really interesting to me. You don't actually have to send the footage to a public server like YouTube.
No, you don't.
The documentation mentions you can use a VLC player. You simply enter the encoder's IP address, and you can watch the stream directly on your computer within your own building.
That's a huge use case for internal broadcasting. Think about a church with an overflow room or a sports bar wanting to distribute a single cable box signal to 20 different TVs. You're keeping the footage entirely on the local network.
Which brings us to another internal use. The sources mention ONVIF compatibility. And for those of you listening who aren't security engineers, this is actually a pretty big deal.
It is. ONVIF is basically the universal language for security cameras.
Right.
Because this encoder speaks that language, you could plug a high-end DSLR camera into this Zenty box, and your security system would recognize it, just like it recognizes a grainy CCTV camera on the corner of the building.
That is a wild level of flexibility. You're effectively hacking high-definition video into a surveillance network. And for the people who want to look professional, I saw it has pro features like OSD.
On-screen display, yes. You can customize the output to add text, or even your own logo directly onto the video stream.
So it removes the need for expensive software mixers if you just need simple branding.
Exactly, and it's all managed via a built-in web GUI where you control the IP address and bitrate.
Speaking of bitrates and quality, let's talk specs. We're looking at 1080p resolution at a full 60 Hz.
And that 60 Hz is the key metric. A lot of cheaper encoders lock you to 30 frames per second, which can look a bit disjointed for fast motion. 60 frames is the gold standard for smooth sports or video gameplay on the web right now.
And usually gold standard broadcast gear costs an absolute fortune, but this is listed at $300. Plus, Zenty throws in a 5-year warranty and lifetime technical support.
That support is vital. Networking can get tricky, and if you mess up an IP address configuration, having a human to call is worth the price alone.
And it seems people appreciate that. The review rating is sitting at a solid 4.7 stars, mostly praising the shipping speed and ease of getting it set up. It really feels like the barrier to entry is just evaporated.
It has. For about $300, you have a gateway that turns a consumer camera into a professional broadcast station.
So what does this all mean for you listening? It means the technology that used to be locked behind studio doors is now sitting on a desk.
Right. If professional streaming infrastructure now fits in a small metal box on a home network, it really begs the question.
What's that?
How does this change the definition of a television channel for the average individual? If anyone can effectively be a network broadcaster now from their living room, what happens to traditional media gatekeepers?
Definitely something for you to mull over next time you hit go live. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.